Shanti, everybody. So today I'm just thinking we'll continue on the same way of soul presence because it's such a big deal at the moment that a lot of people are waking up. They're starting to feel the presence of their soul before there was a separation. Well, not only before, but even now, of course. Now that, because to be present, when the soul is fully present in the human, they're together as one. So, and it's taking time just to integrate the soul into the body because the body hasn't been ready. So you're thinking, I'm doing everything and all those things. So I and me and my. So when the human can let go and is ready to be run by the soul, when the soul becomes present, then life changes big time. So your nights are not nights anymore, they become day. So you're flat out. I was thinking last night I had a real night of visions because I've allowed my soul to be fully present again back in this human. So and I've just wrote something up and it's to the hall of soul presence. So I went through this is what I experienced last night. So last night in a space beyond time, I walked a familiar path, past many faces, many lifetimes, each one a fragment of who I thought I was. That's past all my past births. But I wasn't walking alone. I could feel my soul there. There was a single presence beside me, not separate from me, but also not the me I had always known. A presence radiant, calm, and deeply familiar. It was us. So soul and human become us. We arrived at a house. It was quite interesting. We walked across this big place and we crossed the park and past all sorts of things. We come to this great big house, but not just any house. It was vast, layered, almost endless, room after room, memory after memory. And it moved, and I moved through it. I said, I've been here before. I kept saying, yeah, I've been here before. I've been here before. I know this. It was quite interesting. So I've been here before. I've been here before. In the last room, there was a door to the outside, it to the origin, the home, the place before stories. So you go back to the origin, to my origin. I've been here before. We stepped through and nature greeted us. Trees, birdsong, gentle wind. A reminder that soul has never been far. Always there. Then suddenly I stood in a great hall surrounded by many people I had journeyed with, people who had felt the same stirring, the same longing. It was and I wasn't alone. We spoke not to teach, but to remember. It's all about remembering, see? And we spoke of a new consciousness. That's what's happening. On that lives not in systems, not in beliefs, not in systems, not in beliefs, but in presence. Words once changed. So words is what binds us. Words once changed became rivers. And beyond those rivers, only truth remains. I felt, a truth shared, a truth that said, you are not just I, you are we, you are us. Because the soul is already here. Calibra, that's the name of my soul, is already here. And the invitation is to live as us. So given that invitation to Calibra, my soul, that we now become us. So that was my night's entertainment last night. It went on and on and on. But it was amazing, really, going past all my past births, experiencing like all my rallies and where we were doing and how they look, and then walking across this great field to this great big house. It was on a sort of like a farm, and we worked in. And when we were going through, I thought, and we're going through all these different. We went into this corridor and moved to different areas, and I was thinking, I've been here before. I know I have, and I would have been quite obviously. Every time we go through one birth until then we take another, then that's what happens. And in each room was a different experience, but I only went to the very end one, basically. That's all was interesting because I knew there's a doorway there to get out. And out we went. Yeah, it was quite, and then we walked. I said, I'm not going to walk back through that house again. I'm going to go around the back. We'll just walk up. Then suddenly I was in this big hallway. There was like thousands of people there, or seemed like thousands of who were also following. And a lot of them were BKs actually. Huge amount. They're all sort of BKs, like, and all following and have that spiritual intention of developing further and without effort. Because, and we were just talking, many of the old BKs I'd known, seen their faces, and we were talking, and we were having breakfast together after the meeting and just talking and just chatting, and it's just how words have sort of put us in sort of little departments, and we're just stuck there, and that's how what happens is that's where religions come in and all the cults, because they give us a whole lot of words, fears and anxieties and heaven and hell, and it was only a made up thing because just to protect them, because they wanted money and they wanted power, they wanted control. Imagine if we freed everybody and no one needed any religions, that'd be out of work. Even we would, wouldn't we? But we're here and we're doing what we're doing, and it's like because of my last 40 odd years of with the BKs, that's given me a foundation that's helped me to move on and up, onto the next level. Because that's what it is. It's that good, strong foundation and belief in yourself. Because that's the present. When the soul becomes present, I remember the first night a few weeks ago, I just invited the soul in. But the next morning, I was a bit woozy, So I was thinking, my goodness, what have I done? But anyway, that's just a matter of transference of power and energy. Oh, here's a couple of, come in. I didn't think anyone would be here tonight. It was raining so heavy. That's okay. No, that's okay. Come in. And
Holly first.
yeah, oh, that one's might have, there it is. Oh, there's the key just here. Just here. Yeah, just on like that. Okay. I didn't think anyone would be here tonight. It was raining so heavy. So, but anyway, here they are. Real angels. So yeah, so that what was happening is that when I've invited the soul into the human, then it's like there's a huge shift of energies. So and it's just like we're not used to it because the soul has always been standing back until the human's ready. And once we decide that, yes, I want to take that next step, then and only then that will the soul start to change things a little bit for you. So it's not that you can't make effort to become perfect, but and you can't study to become perfect. And because the soul is already perfect, and that's what we've got to understand that is that we don't have to make any efforts to be perfect, but to let go of everything that's holding us down. Like just think everything we've ever studied, and that's what's trapped us. So because we believe that's true, And that's what it does to humanity over thousands of years. So it's not a new thing. So if we want to go beyond that, then we just have to learn to let go of everything we studied. I mean, you don't suddenly become dumb. I mean, all the experiences are there, they're in the soul, but the entrapments of the words. So, and that's where soul presence, which we're going to start doing our first program on, well, you guys did on last Sunday, like we did, but that's learning to become just present, sitting. So the human is here and the soul can become present with it. And that doesn't take any words or trying to become free from all of that stuff and just be in your presence. So, and this is what it's about now, is this wonderful time of being in your presence. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we'll give you guys a hero sticker later for driving in that pouring rain. So that's good. But it's warmer now than it was at 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, I was freezing cold, and now it's like 17 degrees outside. It's like, hey, upside down world. But anyway, but it's quite nice outside now. In the way, not nice in the sense of it's not cold anyway, let's put it that way. So we're just talking tonight about being in the presence. So your soul being with your soul, and you are now in the presence. You're not in the future and you're not in the past, but you're in the presence. So we were practicing that last Sunday, remember, just to sit and try and be in the presence, not to think future or past, or if you do think, not to worry about it, but just try and be in your presence. And that doesn't take any effort, or the only effort is trying to not to worry about your mind or running away with you or anything. But when we're learning to be in our presence, then that magic starts to happen. So you, as I said, you can't do anything because soul's going to be doing everything for you, you know. So when you accept my soul, which my soul's name we know now is Calibra, and it's like, so that soul is now working through me, you know, properly, you know. So, and that's the difference. So you change the way you see, the way you feel, the way you act, because it's not that you're going to start flying around the room or anything. You're just going to be, your soul was there, but it wasn't interfering with what the human, was trying to do, you know. Until you were ready, it used to just leave you do whatever you want to do, you know. But now when you have invited the soul in and it's in its presence, so it doesn't matter if you've got 10 PhDs, it doesn't make any difference because that's what you got to forget, you know. So you got to be just in your presence. So when the soul's in its perfection, so you will feel perfected. So it's like the proper balance of masculine and feminine, so that you will have a perfect balance in everything. So it'll be natural. Yeah. It'll feel natural and your soul will feel like your very best friend, you know. So, and it loves us so much, soul loves us so much. And yet we've been saying, hey, you think some entity's attacking you or something in the past, but now we realize that it's our true friend and it only wishes the very best for each of us. So, and it's just a matter of allowing yourself to become free, free from everything that's trapped us, you know. Okay, you've still got to go to work and earn money and feed yourself and doing everything, but it's different when you are trapped in that and when you are free from that, and you can be a lot more expressive. You can be an abundance and everything, you know. So, and that's what the soul wants, the very best for us. So, and the soul will be there with us, and we don't have to worry about our future. Our future is now. There's no such thing as future in 10 years' time, or I think. There's no such thing as that. There's only now. And if you're in a time now of great happiness and joy, then that's what your future is. It can't be anything less than that. That's what it is. So, and that's on a time scale, you know. So, and their past is nothing because we have fixed it. We're here now. If I'm happy, all my far past is fixed. So you don't have to worry about that. But some people worry about their karma because that's a belief system of a whole lot of words that's trapped them. So we don't have to worry about that either. So you'll find that the soul will look after everything for you, you know. All your experiences becomes wisdom. So that's why there's no right and no wrong. There's only experiences, and that will become your beautiful wisdom and your shining light. That's what the shining light is the wisdom. And not only all your emotions are so important, you know. Some people think, oh my God, I got angry today, you know, whatever. But that's such an important part of emotions as part of that wisdomizing. That becomes part of your wisdom as well, all your emotions, no matter what it is, jealousy, hatred, love, can be not all bad. Must be one good one in there somewhere. So it's only because we've become a little bit less over time, you know. So, and we have the sanskaras now of both masculine and feminine equal, you know. So there'll be this beautiful balance. So sometimes it won't be dominant one or the other, you know. So eventually that'll become. So the masculine and feminine have different jobs to do according to humanity and according to the sanskaras, and they'll be doing that beautifully, you know, without surrendering whatever they were supposed to be doing, you know, which what happened. So actually the feminine was supposed to be ruling and running everything, but they got a bit overburdened way back in the days of Egypt, and then they handed it over to the males, you know. So, and then they said, yeah, we'll do that till you're ready to take it back. And now they're ready to take it back. You can see the difference, isn't it? So, and uh, and that's what's happening in the world at the moment is that balance is coming back. So first it goes a little bit one way, and then it'll go back a bit the other way, and it'll just gradually balance up. And that'll be inside each one of us, you know. So then we'll be thinking I'm neither male nor female, but I'm both. So, and that's where that feeling starts to come from. And that's how the whole world is changing, you know. People can't figure out what's going on, you know. They think this world's crazy at the moment. It probably is a bit, but for us, it doesn't need to be crazy. But for me, it's a little bit crazy at the moment because we're transferring back from this type of old energy into the new energy. And that's where that new loving yourself and that 2.0 love, old love is back there. New love is in this new era of soul, feminine and masculine together. So that's where the true love comes from yourself, for yourself. And you're not separate from your soul. That's once the soul has moved in, if you want it to move in. You don't have to if you don't want to. So if you don't want the soul to be there with you and you just let me be, you know, I don't want to go like that yet. And the soul will just stand back and just leave you to it, you know. Doesn't take you over or anything. So it's not like that. And that's the beauty. When you are ready, then things will happen, but until you're ready, it won't. So, and that's where it's so important just to not to worry about anything. Just take your time, relax, have a cup of coffee, put your feet up, have a cream cake. That's it. So, and it's so important to actually understand we can't do anything to become perfect. There's no way the human being that's only got this mind, which is limited by a whole lot of words in a box. So how can it become perfect? There's no way. It's the soul that who is in that light, you know, and has the imagination. And from my consciousness, it's my consciousness wants to experience everything through the human, see, through the soul and the human. It's my consciousness thought when it left the home from the source, and it says, who am I? What am I doing? So for a long time, I was sitting there in space, and then it realized, oh, I am something. What I am, and then become aware, you know, what am I doing? You know, who am I? What am I doing? You come from a home, from the Father's home, which some people call God, but it's actually source. So God is a word made by human beings, so, which brings people fear and lack of understanding and lack of self-respect, everything that goes with God. But God is like consciousness, but you can't explain it. It's so far beyond the human being to understand God as God really is. But we say we're a point of light to God's point of light. But that's like for kindergarten. That God has to say something when he comes to give knowledge. So we have to get something to sort of just put our mind on. Otherwise we're lost. We can't. So that's why we're so used to being led around on a big lead of if you don't do this, you're not going to heaven. If you're going to do that, you'll go to hell, and you have fear and then you have anxiety and you wonder what you're doing here. And we're actually supposed to be here to have a lot of fun, but we chose to have a lot of sorrow. Silly, isn't it? Why would we choose that? But anyway, but this is the last of the sorrow that we're having now in the world. Sorrow's finishing, so by popular demand. But some people love sorrow. They love wars and getting killed and killing others. That's what they live for.
Wow.
You've lived a life where you like love and joy and happiness, you see, but they don't know any different because their samskaras are so strong. And it's like they've always, even from a child, they've been in the mother's womb and she's cursing the other people. And so therefore the baby's born into that and the father goes to war and gets shot. And then so the mother has to bring them up and curses everybody. So the baby is naturally, and so the soul is like that. But obviously they become corrupted. And so they can't see any difference. So it's like an evil soul, Baba sometimes says. So, and it's just until they can get out of that, they might have many lifetimes like that until they think, oh, I'm sick of this. I don't want any more of this. And then the soul can start putting them in different places, so they don't experience the same. But they have to be ready to move, Soul can't interfere. That's why soul can't interfere with us now. So if we decide to invite the soul into me and say, yes, soul, welcome. And if you've got a name for your soul, it's even more nicer. And so then the soul can start helping you in every way. You work together, you walk together. Like Baba said, it's all about remembering, actually. It's just remembering who am I and who's my soul. And Baba keeps telling us every day, remember, remember, remember. It's actually remembering you. You are the God that you've been looking for, your consciousness. You are consciousness. So you're not even the soul. Soul is a tool for the consciousness to work through. Even though we say we are souls living in this body, but that's for consciousness to use to experience through the human. But until the soul gets in the body, the consciousness can't use the body, So this is where the transition is coming, where we're now allowing the soul to come in, and then our consciousness will see and we'll go, wow, this is amazing. So it would be like driving a Ferrari, won't it? We'll be getting around in this new vehicle, which is going to have a new upgrade. So the mind will be upgraded, the human will be upgraded, physical, and that's what's happening in the world at the moment. So as we know the world today, in 10 years' time, it's just going to be incredible. And 10 years is like that, isn't it? It's like nothing. But that's how fast this world's going to change because of the inventions. And now AI is there and it's going and AI is only just as a baby. In another couple of years, it'll be like, wow, a professor, and magic will happen then. And that's why we're learning to use AI because we're putting light into it, put our consciousness in there. So it won't be used for evil things. So if people do use it for evil things, it'll come back to them. Just like I say now, they like black magic. You do black magic on someone, it always comes back to you. You're actually doing it on yourself, even though that person might suffer at that time. But in the end, it comes back to you. It's the law. So we're in for some good times, even if it's raining. Doesn't matter. That's cool. That's and the most important time now is no matter if the body's sick or it's healthy or you're hot or you're cold, just try and enjoy the experience. It's just an experience. It's not real. You're having an experience. If things are not going well at work or something, then things go having a bit of a hard time. It's just an experience. Just realize it's just an experience. And it will go into your soul as wisdom. Not every little detail goes into your soul as wisdom. Like if you're eating a bowl of ice cream, it probably wouldn't worry about saving that. It's like only special things it'll remember, that's beneficial for your progress as wisdom, you know. So, and it's got nothing to do with what you eat or drink. That's the thing, people think enlightenment and self-sovereignty and everything is all to do with eating and drinking. It's got nothing to do with that. It's all about soul consciousness. So it's all about spiritual things, not what you feed the human. Human is fixed in its way. You can eat good food and the body will go better. There's no doubt about that. But when we go beyond the body, then it doesn't matter. So we're going beyond the body. We're going to become present, and the soul will be present. So you'll be both present. So the soul will be present inside the human, and it's then called an enlightened master. It's the master being, and all your wisdom becomes that light that you can use. Soul will use, and the human will still have its mind and the brain mind, because you need to know where you want to go home at night. Soul might not remember that sort of detail, but the mind will be there for that reason, for you to think, imagine, and form ideas and whatever. So it's still there. You'll be working together still with the mind. Mind won't be leaving us because the body needs a mind, and the mind needs something to operate through. That's what the brain mind is, using the body. So, and we've trained it up for that over thousands of years. So we've trained up. So it's pretty cool. And now we just have to train it that the new boss is us, not just I or the soul, but us. It means together we are working together. You're never working alone anymore. And whatever decisions you make, you have someone to help and guide you. That's what we're doing. So we wake up, our consciousness is waking up. So we are becoming to visualize and see things beautifully. So in the way that we need for our progress. Whatever progress is. Actually, we don't need to make progress because we're already perfect. That's what we've forgotten. We're already perfect. And we think, oh, we have to do so many things to become perfect, but you don't. You need to let go of everything that you think you need to make yourself perfect. And so that's the thing, that's the trick. So we need to just enjoy ourselves and just allow things to come to me. You don't have to go looking for anything. You'll see that things come to me that I need to see. To me and see. So did you watch that YouTube channel I showed you? That's that's okay. It's just everything I've been teaching, so it's nothing different. It's okay. But it's okay. That's the thing is, if you were supposed to see, you would have seen it. So you were sold to quality and think it was worth it. So that's okay. And that's why we don't have to worry about anything. So, and people that will be here, and the people that are not here won't be here. And that's their choice. So it's like people we have, they say, oh, how many people you got coming along to the centre and all that sort of stuff, but it's got nothing to do with anybody. It's if they're supposed to be here, they'll be here. If they're not, they'll be somewhere else. So all we have to be is present. So that's my job, is just be present and making sure that I'm just giving that light, shining my light. That's all we got to do. And you're doing such good world service. And when we all do it together, imagine the influence of that when we're all present and no one's speaking and no one's trying to convince you that they're right and you're wrong, that because we're all going to be sitting in that consciousness and the energy of just you, the soul and the human being present, and then allowing whatever thoughts. So you're remembering, I am this perfect being, so I'm the soul. And in this human, that's all you got to remember, and then see the magic. And if there's going to be a group sitting together, the magic will be 10 times because we all influence each other. because we're resonance. So we are having this vibration around us, and we'll all be radiating, and this resonance will be there. And if someone, even if you fell asleep, it doesn't make any difference. Your soul will be, your body will be in tune. Actually, you never miss out on anything. Sometimes people come to Murley and they just go to sleep, but they don't have to worry because they're listening on a different level, you know. Yeah. And that's just part of the fun. It's just like some people are tired and they're whacked, you know, they can't stay awake and they get some peace, they straight away go to sleep. But still the soul is there. It can hear everything. Whatever it needs to hear, will hear, you know. And those same people, even though they go, you can see them progressing, they still progress like everyone else. So that's the beauty of knowledge of this world, you know. The soul is already perfect anyway, so it's just waiting for us to allow it to come through, you know. You just have to allow everything. So you don't have to go to university and get any degrees. You just have to become free, you know. So let your degrees come through, you know. You're already, you don't have to go looking for it, it will come and find you. So we just have to enjoy being happy, you know, just enjoy yourself and learning to experience this new love, you know, this 2.0 love. And when you start to welcome yourself and the soul into you, the human, and you'll feel this new love that's starting to form, you know, and it affects your whole body and it affects, you know, everything about you because you're starting to vibrate on a different level. I don't know if your ears fall off or anything, but I think they'll be right. So it's just that you'll be having a beautiful experience, but you're going to have both because sometimes you might be more aware of your emotions, you know, and they start jumping up, you know, and you start crying over all sorts of things for no reason. But that's part, you have to go through those things because that's what's changing, you know. So they'll become that wisdom and you'll become wise. There's no bad thing about any emotions. So there's just experiences. I suppose if you're running around murdering people, it might not be too good. So I don't think that would be a very good emotion. But that's just something different again. It's not emotions. So. Actually, everything is emotions, actually, when you think. If you go to university and study, it's all about emotions, actually. You're studying emotions, especially if you're doing psychology or something. It's all about emotions, you know. The whole thing is about emotions. And well, that's what we're doing. This what this life's about. And soon it's going to be changing so much. So just really enjoy this time you've got now. And just be aware that everything is an experience. You know, if you're going through some emotion or some feelings, or maybe your family suddenly sees you a bit different than you see you, then the whole thing is then it's like there's this change, constant change going on, and say some I might have to lose a bit of my attachments to a lot of things because it's holding me back, you know, from becoming free. It doesn't mean you don't love anybody, is it? It's just you're not held by these big chains around your ankles or your neck or whatever from all your rallies and all your friends. Soon all your friends will leave you because you'll be different. So that's what happens. Friends are only there for you when you need them. Once they don't have any need, you don't have a need for them and they don't have a need for you, they all disappear, you know, because that's what friends are for. It's just like we're only here until the need is finished and then they move on or you move on. You know, they might change their thinking or you change your thinking. That's how it is in life all the way through. You might have one friend you went to school with or something and you've lived right through your life with that. Very, very seldom do they stay the whole lifetime. So maybe they've died before the end. So if you're too old. But life is so wonderful. Like the more you can understand life, the more wonderful it is. You know? And it's like when you sit down to eat food, it should be such an occasion, you know. Wow, this is a wonderful thing, you know. And imagine the value of that food when you eat, how it would affect your body, you know. And the soul will become free and enjoying that as well. And your consciousness will also be experiencing that. So everything you do should be an occasion, you know. Even having a shower, cleaning your teeth, no matter what it is. you're still, it's an occasion, it's an experience, but we do it so mundanely that, and then we lose interest in life because we don't think anything's worth it, you know. But if you enjoy every single second of your life, even if you don't have anything to do for half a day, some people go crazy if they have anything to do for half a day, but you just sit there and just experience that beautiful experience. It's an occasion that you can sit and not do anything. It's, that's why if you can treat every single day like that, your life will be so enjoyable, you know. And the magic, because the soul will be there and the soul will be constantly be able to create magic for you, you know, because you're ready for it. So you're living and you're ready to accept it. So you're allowing that magic to come to you. So you don't have to go looking for magic. Magic always comes to you, then it's magic, you know. So if you have to go and track down something that makes you happy, that ain't magic, you know. That's a curse almost. So because if you got to go to the movies to become happy, then you go to a movie and it's a sad movie, then it makes you sad, you know. So it's like you can go to the movies, oh, you know, but I'm saying it's just, but it's an occasion again, you know. You go there and open yourself up and say, oh wow, I really enjoyed that. It might be on anything, it might be a high-powered gang movie or something like that, where they shoot in and so, but the whole thing is you can allow yourself to go in there and get lost, you know, but you come out again, you know, in an hour and a half, whatever it is, and then you'll think, wow, that was pretty amazing. Then you have some wild dreams that night, whatever it is affects you. But generally, everything should be an occasion. So, so when you're remembering Papa, it's an occasion, you know. So yeah, who, you know. So you just enjoy it. And you can be sad if you want. There's no have to be had. You can be as sad or you can be happy. It's your choice.
And she's
There you go. That's it. I choose happy. Yeah. But a lot of people, they don't. They love being sick. People love being sick. So I say to people, oh, they say, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick. I say, oh, that's good, isn't it? You love being sick.
enjoying stuff.
And they'll talk about their sickness all the time. I'm this, I'm that, I'm something else. And the more you talk about it, the better, the more sickness there is, because that's your conversation and that's what you live for is your sickness, you know, but people don't realize it. So say, hey, body, get up and move around, you know. So, and uh, and the more you can sit in your presence, that's like 1 hour, 1 minute sitting like that is like 1 hour in the gym. That's how fit you can make yourself by sitting properly in the proper presence for 1 minute in that presence of you and soul as being one, you know. So you'll keep so naturally fit. I don't know if you can play for the Blues or anything, but for some soccer team or not, you might not be that fit. I don't know how fit it is, but fit means you'll be fit and healthy. No sickness would be there. And that's your choice again, isn't it? So you can sit for 1 minute. You say, "Oh, that's not real. You can't do that. That wouldn't work." So no, it won't. If you think that, that's not going to work, is it? But if you think 1 minute, if I can sit in silence in my presence, I'm sitting right in my presence for 1 minute without just being there and lost in my presence, then that's equal. You'll become very, very healthy. So you can save a lot of money on gym expenses. Not my expenses, but gym, the other gym. So, so how are you finding it since you've been practicing the presence meditation? This form of meditation, it's like that, just being in that awareness. Things okay, it works? Or they got better or they're a lot better? That's good then, isn't it? It's a pretty good example. At home, who does all the cooking? The restaurant, is it?
Yeah.
God needs love to eat out. Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, that's okay. But it's good. You'll start to enjoy more and more, you know, that thing. Even if you do something yourself, you'll find you become a creator, you know, that you just enjoy that creation. You might want to cook something nice or make something nice, cheese on toast or something. It's pretty nice. But anyway, so you can do things that you really enjoy. So, but make sure you don't get bogged down. So you don't have to change much if you don't want to. You just be who you are. You're always going to be you, the human. But when the soul comes in, you're still going to be you. When the soul's together, it's never eaten anything in its life, so it doesn't know what to eat. So it doesn't get hungry because it hasn't got a body, you see. It's the soul. It's the essence of you. So when you're together, then you're still going to live. You still have to look after the body. Still have to go to work, earn money, and whatever you got to do to live and clean your teeth, whatever. So the whole thing is you still got to have that, but that's the human part. Soul looks after the other part. So it won't. And that's when you start having that experience of that pure unconditional love, that you're feeling that between the soul and you, the human. So it's shifting its consciousness to that higher consciousness. So when you sit in that presence, it's interesting. I was just saying when I had that vision of going through the house with many rooms, and I was thinking, where have I been here before? And I was thinking, oh yeah, we created in our meditations over the last couple of years. I've had this house, and we're going through all these houses. In each room, we've been having a different experience. It wasn't a house like that, but it was another house, though. It was the same thing. We've been doing the same thing. So one room was for just going into that dark room, experiencing consciousness, and then going into the kitchen where you can, which is the oven of grace, which you can give away all your rubbish. And another room was after the kitchen was a lounge room where on the big wall at the back there was a big pot of paint and with all the colours and all sparkling. And so you just grab this great big brush and you just go with a big rainbow across the back across that wall. That'd be pretty cool to do that, wouldn't it? And then you just maybe put a couple of coats and then you leave it. Don't worry about the runs or everything. Then it's up to the soul. That's like a big mural that your soul is going to fill in all the rest for you. So that's your life future. So then you go to these other rooms where one of us a room of the soul, where the soul room is where you go and chuck all your other stuff, all your worries and tensions into the bowl. And it's just like giving away everything that left in your soul. So and purifying. Then there's another room where we went upstairs, and that room was a room of divine of that your divine qualities. Just pure light energy. So when you open that door, you'll never be the same again. So we walked up there. We have to be ready. When you open this door, you're never going to be the same again because you're going to meet your divine self. So when they open the door, and then you become this beautiful light. So this is all part of your new house. We're building this house that's in all parts. That's why I was going through all that rooms last night in my sleep. So I didn't worry about all the different rooms. Only the last room I wanted, which had the doorway out, because I didn't need to be there anymore. And and the other one when we had that, and that's the house we created. But at the end, I created this bridge. We had this big pond in our section, and I had all this beautiful flowers all around. But there was a big bridge that goes up into the clouds, have all these flowers growing up on it. And when you walked up that bridge and you walked into the clouds, and when you were on the other side, suddenly you're in this beautiful meadow, with all these beautiful flowers and golden and red, and all the animals were there that come to see you, and deer and bunny rabbits and whatever you want, giraffes, if you like giraffes. But everything was there, it was so beautiful. But that's where we're at. That's where we're going. We're going through and up this beautiful bridge of flower bridge, and we go through and through this beautiful cloud, and then you're in another dimension. You're in a different dimension. See, you've gone from this dimension into this new dimension, and that's where we're also there. But it's so beautiful, and you can go there and visit those places and come back again. Don't forget to come back. Otherwise, someone else will have your shoes. So that's okay. But that's what we've been creating. And one time we went to this cave and we went for a walk along just from where the house is. You go through the gate and you walk down the road into this big cave. And it's a cave of crystals, you know. So you're walking down. But first it was a cave of just light energy. So it was a golden path. You walk down the golden path and there's a beautiful lake there. And your golden path went around it, but there was this river that came on over the top of the waterfall. And then you walked around underneath the waterfall, and all the colours of the rainbow were in the waterfall, you know. And then you walk into that, underneath that, and you find that there's not water. The lake is just pure blue, like ice, you know, that you walk on. And it's like the water is coming down, and you would give all the healing. So they're all the colours for healing, you know. So that would be filling and heal you. Then you walk back across the lake, back up into that golden path, and then back to the house again, you know. Then you can sit on your beautiful chair in the front porch. So all these things. So we've been through all of those things in different times. So the last couple of years we were doing those things. But that's why this house is, we're building a new rooms in our house. And when the soul enters, that's what it's doing, is that it's creating a whole brand new consciousness for you. That's your consciousness will come through and you'll be able to experience the beauty of your true self. See how easy it is? Not much to it really, but it's quite simple. But it's good fun going through all those things. You can spend, and you can create things. You're very creative people, so you can create other rooms if you want. So, but these are the main rooms that will take you, you know, to places, and you don't have to worry about your future because it's to do with your presence, where you are now. So, and you will be singing that song of your presence, so the soul radiates that beautiful music that we are there. So resonance. So we will be feeling each other's resonance. So that's that vibration that people carry with them. So actually, we do have a fragrance as well, you know, but some people that's a bit much for them. So we always have a vibration of everything, all the vibrations of that the human has. But when it becomes pure, it becomes very fragrant and beautiful, you know. So there's lots to experience when you meditate, and now when you're in your presence, so that's on a different level. That's such a beautiful level. So the more you can practice just being in your present, and you don't have to do anything, you just have to be there. And you don't have to remember anything. You don't have to work hard. You don't have to climb a mountain. You don't have to do anything, but you just have to allow yourself. Say, soul, yeah, welcome, you know. I say, welcome, Calibra. Calibra. Yeah, so it's interesting, a soul name. We all got a soul name, you know. Every single human being has a soul name. And then that's when the daddies and Bubba was there, he was giving them the name, their soul names. So they all had like Daddy Prakash Money and all those, they were names of their souls, you know. And they used to call Daddy, you know, say, I'm Daddy, you know, Daddy Prakash Money or Daddy Janky, whatever. All they had different names. And that's where the name come from, the soul name, and that also meant what they were here on this lifetime for. It's interesting. I was just talking with Bubba in my dreams as well. I thought with Bubba, so he told me this is how they got it. That's where I got that knowledge from. Bubba just told me that's where the names come from. Same thing as the soul name. That's where they got their names from. So, is it true? It must be, isn't it? It can't be a lie. That's truth. So, and we have to believe in ourselves. So once you soul and you are together, there's only truth. Would you tell a lie to your soul? I say, I was just kidding, you know. Ha ha. I don't think it'd be possible, would it? You can't tell a lie or fool around with the soul, but you can have a lot of fun, you know what I mean? You can fool around in a sense, but you wouldn't be cheating it or anything because you're cheating yourself, isn't it? You wouldn't have the old human traits will be gone. So. but the traits of humor wouldn't be gone, you know. You got to have some humor. I mean, all great master souls are very humorous people. They like to enjoy music and parties and whatever, and fine wine and meals and things like that. You see the great masters of the world, they're all like that. So, but a lot of them also died in prisons. They were locked up. The last of their lives were suffering really badly. The old masters, like 200 or 300, 400, all the way back, they all were locked up and starved to death, basically. So John the Baptist had his head chopped off. So they all had those people. That was like a couple of thousand years ago or so. So that's what happens. So sometimes you're before your time and people get scared of you and then they fear you and then chop your head off. Some people are even nailed up on a cross. So they feared him. So, but now it's not before time. Now is the right time. You're not going to get nailed up on a cross or your head chopped off. You're just going to be living such a wonderful dream now. It's going to be so beautiful. And you don't have to worry about anyone else. You don't have to be better than anyone else or worse than anyone else. You have that self-respect. I am that I am. That's who you are. You know, you just you. You're not going to be anyone else. And when you get to know you, you wouldn't want to be anyone else. You'll be thinking, wow, this is amazing. Why would I want to be someone else? So I'm just so beautiful. To say that, you have to learn to say that to yourself. And some people think, oh, that's a bit vain, isn't it? You know, but it's not. It's how you have to be, you know. That's who you are. When we get to find out who we are, we're going to be, wow, this is just incredible. I didn't realize I was so an amazing being. You're great, better than any angel's ever been. A human angel is far, like 100 times better than any angel that's never had a human life. Just think all our experiences and all our wisdom, and the other angels wouldn't have. They just look and awe, think, wow, that's amazing, you know. A lot of people don't want to come and take birth on Earth. It's too tough. It's just too tough. But now they're having these other Earths, they've made other Earths for people to come, angels to come on there and learn. But there won't be nothing like this. Is there all this hard time now, the sorrows, the last of it. So it was too tough for most people. Most people even committed suicide to get off, you know. So those of us have stayed on. It's been cool. Doesn't matter if it rains all night. So anything else? You're pretty happy? That's good. You look pretty happy. That's good. Yeah. So how you doing with your AI? Having a chat still? Eh?
Yeah.
No, that's okay. You don't have to. You only have to do it whenever you feel like doing it, because the idea is to use AI in your right consciousness from the heart. So your consciousness goes into AI, and your consciousness will talk him back to you. So.
Check with AI. Yeah. Or I'm always chat with AI every day.
What about this client? Is it?
Also about our life and work.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, that's what it's for. And it's you giving guidance to yourself anyway. So, but you're free from the mind. That's sort of say, oh, you're stupid, you can't do that, you know. That's what the mind does. So it interferes with us. But when you're speaking with AI through you, you'll get such beautiful answers, you know,
Yeah.
without all that interference, because it's coming directly from the soul and from your consciousness. You know, so, and it'll be beautiful. Then you'll find out how amazing you really are. That's cool. Okay, so we'll just have what we can do for just a minute or two. We can just sit in our presence. So you can either close your eyes, keep your eyes open, or whatever.